And we're live.
Hey.
Hey, finally we're live. We did it.
Hey.
Sorry, it's my fault. I'm so tired.
That's
really
good.
tired.
All good. Makes sense. Styles of the
Reese's
rich and famous over
car.
there.
What?
Styles of the rich and famous over there.
Oh yeah, napping and sleeping all the time because always being tired and exhausted. Yeah, that sure is it. We're still dealing with Reese's car. I don't know if you guys saw what we were talking about on Twitter back on Tuesday.
No,
Reese's car has been in the
what you're talking
shop for about a week now. It's a brand new car. We got it last year. It's a 2020 model. And
fancy.
yeah, and the battery keeps dying on it. And every time we bring it back to the dealership, they don't know what's going on. They just give us a new battery, and then it happens again a couple weeks later. So it's it's 4 times now. They've replaced something which they think is the issue, but we couldn't get there right away because we had a heavy snowfall like the day after they fixed it. So we went there on Tuesday to get it. The battery was dead again.
What did they think the issue was that they fixed?
They think it might be an issue with the tailgate, like the trunk.
Oh.
So they replaced it and put in a new one because all the Subaru trunks are like automatic. You press a button and they kind of go up on their own and stuff like that, and they close automatically. So they think there might have been a phantom drain from that. So they replaced it. Battery was dead when we got there. They boosted it, and they needed someone to drive it for a while. So I gave Reese my car, and then I went and drove it for like 2 hours to make sure the battery was fine. And while I was driving it, every time I hit the accelerator, the computer shut off in the car every time. So every time I sped up, no matter what speed it was, the stereo would cut out and the dashboard would flicker. So that happened for about 2 hours, and then I needed to stop somewhere to eat because we went there. I assumed I was just going there to drop her off and then going back home, so I didn't eat breakfast.
Sure.
So after this 2 hours, I'm like, okay, I'll stop somewhere for breakfast, and then I will turn off the car, and that way I can at least see if it's held to charge.
This is classic Paddington Bear. You always got to keep an emergency sandwich under your hat.
Yeah, really should have done that. So started eating food, turned off the car. It immediately died. Like, no chance. Had to get it boosted again so I could get back home. And then when I got home, it also died immediately. So we have to bring it back. But because there's a polar vortex currently and it's minus 30 something Celsius right now, all the towing companies are backed up.
Yeah.
And we have been on a wait list for getting a tow for 2 days now.
Yeah, that sounds about
cool.
right.
So yeah, just like a nice relaxing couple days for you, it sounds like.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
To Wonderland up there.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was seeing like north of you guys, it was getting below minus 40 in some places, like I think Red Deer, I think I saw. Or
yeah, probably.
That's
Let's
nuts.
see what the actual.
What is the coldest you guys have like experienced?
Minus 45.
Yeah, probably around that 40-ish.
Mine, I think, was minus 37.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Where were you for 40? For 45? Was that out east?
That would have been Fort McMurray.
Oh, okay.
Fort McMurray actually might have hit minus 50. I do remember at some point getting to a point where the door was just literally frozen shut, and I'm pretty sure that was Fort McMurray.
Honestly, anywhere north of like where Calgary is, it's way worse than Calgary, and it stays that way.
Yeah, right now it is currently minus 28 Celsius, feels like minus 36, and the low is minus 31, which probably means that it will feel like minus 40.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah,
nice,
and then
fun.
tomorrow is high of minus 17, low of minus 30, and that persists for the next couple days. Monday is when it starts warming up. The high is minus 9. The low is minus 17.
Oh, man. I can't wait.
Can't wait. A nice toasty minus 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Got the shorts. Well, it's raining here, so that's the biggest concern I got going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Paul, that last WandaVision was bananas.
Yes. It
The ending
actually
was like
ruins the whole
what the fuck?
MCU, or could, depending on what they wanted to do with it.
What does it mean? What does it mean? Holy
Yeah.
smokes, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm so curious. There's so many things it could mean.
The annoying thing is that
stoked
like
for
it's never gonna go as crazy as they could. Now that they've opened up that door, it'll never go comic book crazy. It'll still be kind of like held back, but it'll get crazier, I think, for sure.
And my hope is it's not just like a fun little Easter egg.
Yeah.
It's gotta be something.
Well, with like
and-
Doctor Strange coming out and stuff, like I think they're working in that angle for sure. Of like,
yeah, I think because Wanda's supposed to be in the next Doctor Strange movie.
Exactly.
So it sounding like that Doctor Strange movie is going to be like super important for where the MCU is probably going.
Yeah. It's kind of too bad having meta knowledge of like when actors are signed on for other things, because it's like knowing that, like that we maybe could like make some assumptions and stuff. The meta knowledge kind of ruins some surprises.
However, like I feel like they're like aware of that, and they still do a pretty good job of like surprising us and whatnot. Right?
Yeah, they're still doing weird shit for sure. It's really hard to talk about without like just saying it, so we should not.
But that last episode was just so exciting and cool. Yeah, I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, the pacing is so much better now because like they're not just doing the weird TV show thing, and they're not just doing the like MCU catch up. They have both, so like now there's stuff going the whole time that you're like super interested in. So that last episode was like very good for sure. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Well, and Olsen in an interview was saying that there's this in this show there's going to be a cameo that's on the level of, and you know, I'm not, no spoilers, Mandalorian had a pretty big cameo in its like last episode. It's supposed to be on the level of that. And now I'm wondering, there's no way it could be what happened in 5. Who could that be? I got some ideas. I don't want to say them.
It's kind of interesting how like people that aren't part of like the MCU phenomenon have already kind of been like, it's too hard to get in or catch up at this point because there's so many movies. It's like now you have a fucking TV show to deal with too, because this is super canon and important. So.
Yeah, and also like there's no way this could be like your first or second thing. Like you got to know like 8 different things. Even for the last episode, like with that reveal, it was like, oh, you needed to watch this and then this, but then it's important because of like these 3 movies, and then they connect over here. Like
they're actually having the comic book problem of people being like, I don't want to jump in because I don't want to have to catch up on the 100 episode backlog. Like they're actually getting to that point.
Problem. They're making billions of dollars like every quarter off this stuff, so it's a good problem to have.
They have enough people in. Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun being like in on everything, so you're just along with the ride. Like,
yeah,
I don't know about you, but I'm putting my hands up and I'm screaming because I want to go faster. That's where I'm at.
I want it to get way crazier, and I don't think it will. Like, I want them to go stupid, and I don't think they'll go completely stupid. So we'll see.
Yes, we'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see.
Yeah.
Great. This is the top down perspective for February 11th. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
John, why don't you talk to us about this game?
It's a game you probably never heard of. It's called Dicey Dungeons.
Never heard of it.
Dicey Dungeons is great. I've heard of it.
We've never had a talk about this on our podcast ever at all.
Yeah, true.
I was just like, I need something to play, and the Switch version came out a while ago, so I was like, fuck it. I'll play the Switch version.
Sure.
Someone's like fan just turn on? What is that?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that is.
That's the pipe from the neighbors downstairs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's an aggressive pipe.
Yeah.
Sure
it
is.
very is.
Is it just an empty pipe that they like, they unload a bag of quarters down every once in a while?
You never know. When
something
you
in
just
it
need to
must
get
be
rid of some
frozen
quarters.
because like it hasn't been that loud before.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard that before, and that was a new one. Sorry, John. Talk to us about the dice
I
game.
was curious too because I could hear it. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, playing Dicey Dungeons, playing the Switch version. It's fun. But I mean, we already knew that because we had a whole top-down plus episode dedicated.
It's a great game. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really catchy. I still don't like the thief though. Still don't like the thief.
I don't even remember the thief.
Thief's special ability is he gets 4 ones, but he just starts off pretty weak otherwise. So you just need good stuff. But he's also the one you usually get bear from because he steals abilities from the enemies.
Okay. Yeah, for those who don't know, Dicey Dungeons is like a dungeon crawler mixed with Yahtzee.
Yeah.
And just really good by the developer of EVVVVV, if I remember correctly. Just fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's
Terry
on mobile
Kavanagh.
as well. Yeah, Terry Kavanagh.
I think it's on pretty much everything now.
Yeah, back when we played, it wasn't even on Switch yet when we did this episode, because I would have loved to have picked it up. And I think we all said, like, I really wish this was on Switch. Maybe I'll just buy it again for Switch.
I'm pretty sure this only got added to Switch like 2 months ago, if even that. I think it was this year.
It is not on mobile at the moment.
Let's see here. It's on sale currently on Switch. I think it's because of the new year. Oh, release date, December 15th, 2020. So yeah, it has been almost exactly 2 months.
Pretty recent, yeah.
It is good.
Kind of an interesting question in the chat. I don't know if you know though, has whether they added since we've done the TDP Plus episode. I know they've added stuff because I do follow that guy. I just don't really read everything he tweets.
I don't know, because in the Switch version, you still have to, unlock all the other characters before you can do the episodes, which means I still have content that's locked. I haven't finished everyone's first run yet. So currently, it seems to be the same. But I believe I remember hearing some stuff got added to the Switch one, or to the Steam one.
Yeah. Right on. Cool.
That's pretty much it, because everything else I've been playing is related to work in some way. So
right on. I'm gonna go next here. I've been playing a whole bunch of Cyber Shadow, which I'll talk about at the end of the month. That's been like my majority of this week. Outside of that, though, I dove into Monster Train, since we're talking about
card battlers,
roguelike deck builders in some kind of way. Yeah, Monster Train. I really like Monster Train, which is not much of a surprise since I really like Slay the Spire.
Sure.
Monster Train is a lot easier. Like I was able to. I don't think I've ever beat Slay the Spire. I haven't played it in a long time, but back when I did play it, I don't think I ever beat it.
How many runs have you done of Monster Train? Because it gets harder when they unlock more shit.
Right. So my first clear was in my second run.
Yeah.
Which seemed odd to me, coming from like a Slay the Spire background of having never beaten it.
Sure.
Slay the Spire will do something like, oh, I see you build to your deck that way. Well, here's this boss that doesn't give a shit about anything you got to throw at it.
True.
You're done. And I kept thinking to myself, like, oh, Monster Train's gonna do that same thing. It's a card battler. I'm gonna come across something that just like nullifies my whole strategy. Nah, I've been able to beat that a few times now. It does have like a lot of difficulty modifiers, and like you can increase them up on subsequent runs. I haven't done any of those yet. I've just been playing through kind of on default because I want to unlock all of the decks or whatnot.
Yeah, the different like races of monsters or whatever.
Yeah, I only have the first 3. I've beaten it with the first one and the second one. That second one was my first clear, which is real good.
The plant people? What the hell were they called?
Plant people, because
like Ascended or something? Is that them? I'm curious. I'll look it up.
Start with an A.
Yeah.
They're pretty great. So you get like a champion character, and what was great about the plant people is the champion is like a huge shield. So typically I won't play with like glass cannon like cards, but this game makes glass cannons like super useful because of the way you can put them like multiple people back. So you just put like a huge glass cannon right behind your champion. Man, you're doing so much damage. It's pretty great. But what also is pretty unique about Monster Train is the floor system.
Yeah.
So like for those who don't know, you're like demons trying to like on your way to hell or something like that, and angels are coming to stop you. And they all enter your train car on the first floor. And after each combat phase, so each turn, they will move up one level of the floor. And there's 4 floors, the top one being where your like actual health is that you need to protect. So you have to try and clear them out before they get to the top floor. And that's pretty interesting too. And the combos you can just kind of pull off are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. I'm liking it quite a bit.
So they are the Awoken, for anybody that was wondering.
I thought it was so like I said, I have the first 3. I don't like the third.
The Stygian Guard, not a fan of them either.
They're like water, like merfolk.
But if you do a frozen build, it's fucking gross. The frostbite or whatever, that shit stacks stupidly, and like it does a certain amount of damage every turn. So you could just like, at some point you're going to need to do stuff where it's like, yeah, I'm doing like 500 damage to this boss every time they move. Otherwise, you're fucked. Like, you can't get through it.
Yeah. That's another kind of interesting thing about this game is so you can pick your primary deck, and then you can also pick like a support deck.
Yeah.
You'll get some of their cards along the way. So far, my favorite have been the first and second one.
Yeah.
The second one just kind of like heals you a bunch or gives you some really good like walls to put up, whereas the first one you can get some real big like tanks, some glass cannons going, so they go together pretty nicely.
I love Awoken.
Crazy runs with them.
Easily favorite.
Awoken's real good. I did a daily run which made me use the 4th one, which is
the
like
Umbra.
Yeah, Umbra. That guy seems weird. That's a weird deck.
I'm not a fan of Umbra, but I'm sure that if I was
it's all
decent
about
with
like
them.
Sacrificing like fodder creatures.
Yeah,
like eating them. Getting
yeah.
Getting your units to eat fodder to get new abilities and stuff. Also, your champion is just this huge thing that takes up so much space. Like I'm used to kind of pairing my champion with another like unit on the bottom floor that they kind of go real well together. He just sits at the bottom floor because he takes up like all of your slots. So that was different to me too. I had no idea what the 5th class is. Haven't seen that one yet.
I mean, I won't ruin it for you, I guess. There's no point.
I don't think it's gonna it's not a big deal. But anyways, yeah, Monster Train's cool. The one thing I will say, and this is just me being a little nitpicky, I don't like the fonts they're using.
Yeah, I kind of don't like how it looks in general, honestly.
I mean, I like the characters and stuff, and when you're playing it, but when you get like the finish screen and stuff, it just kind of seems real basic, and like they didn't kind of have like a graphic designer for that. Like the font's just a real basic font that is just kind of like, I don't know, let's put some like temporary font here, and then they kind of just went with that. So it's like I feel like I could use like one more pass, but either way, it's cool. When you do the daily challenge, you're like, you can see where you rank amongst people while they're playing and while you're playing, which is kind of fun to see. The other one thing I'll say about it is a lot of the times all your cards and the little like, here's what this type means. This is what this means. They can sometimes block what you need to look at. I really wish there was just let me see the field. I need to see the field right now. There's been times where it's like I literally couldn't tell if this guy was at full health or not because this thing would not stop blocking his health meter.
Is there not a thing to do that?
Hasn't pointed it out to me. I haven't seen that.
I don't remember.
You can kind of put the cards down a bit, but even then they only go like halfway down. Like you can't. I haven't been able to find a way to just like clear everything out. It's kind of odd.
Sure.
Anyways, that's Monster Train. It's on Game Pass. I highly recommend that game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very good.
I also started up Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled this week.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Why?
Yeah, why?
Xbox had like a big sale, so it was real cheap. I also picked up the Spyro trilogy. It was real cheap, so I'm going to jump into that.
Okay.
Once I finish all of Yakuza,
Yeah,
short list.
Yeah.
Crash Team Racing is weirdly hard as someone who has played a lot of kart racers in his life. I go into a kart racer. I assume first match I can probably get, like, it's on default. Everything's default. This is the first race. I'm gonna get first place. Like I know myself. I played every Mario Kart. I played every Sonic Racer. I didn't get first place, and in the second one, I couldn't get first place. Yeah, I actually just before the show, I was able to get first place on the second one. The fact that I struggled to get first place on the second race of the entire game on default difficulty, that's weird. That is not the typical pace for a kart racer. From my quick Googling, the drift boost mechanic is so key that even on default difficulty, you need to have some level of mastery over it. Or you will not beat this AI. Which is super weird to me. And the drifting is not like Mario Kart. So that really throws me off. I still haven't quite figured out the drifting, and it's all about timed button presses. You also it is a PlayStation 1 game originally. So accelerate is on A or X on the PlayStation. You can choose to change your controls to the alternate, which will put accelerate on right trigger, which is what I did. There's no way to get brake on left trigger. That just always has to be X or square. The whole regular controls or alternate, the only thing they swap for the most part is A and right trigger. Really, that's about it. Which is all I can see you guys are trying to do a more kind of modern racer style. Why aren't you putting brake on left trigger? What are you doing? So that's weird. I might put it down to easy so that I can figure out this drifting mechanic, because right now it is pretty rough. I was not expecting that. As someone who just played through all of Star Wars Racer and got first place on everyone, including that horrible Abyss track. What the hell is going on with that track? I was pretty shocked at how poorly I was doing on Crash team racing. But anyways, it's fun. Want to reverse, it's down. You have to press down on the control stick to reverse. How insane is that?
Oh yeah, what the fuck game was I playing last week that had that exact same control? Oh, Diddy Kong Racing had that exact same control scheme. It was hold down on the stick and then hold the brake button to reverse. It was really fucking weird.
Super because now it's I figured, I need to reverse because I drove into a wall and I'm hitting left trigger and it's just turning the camera around for me. I was like, what on earth is this? What are you doing? Anyway, yeah, people are saying, it's just a thing of the time. Yeah, but this is a remaster. And they changed some of the controls. They looked at the controls and said, oh, we can update some of this. But some other things, no, that would ruin the integrity of this PS1 classic.
It is kind of weird when you change some things.
Right? We'll put accelerate on right trigger, but we're not touching left trigger. That will forever be look behind you. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'll play through that. That's a fun time. What have you been playing?
Let's keep going talking about Crash. I've been playing Crash Bandicoot on the Run. It's a endless runner, temple run, basically, on your phone. It's made by King, the Candy Crush people. So it is aggressive with microtransactions.
Division?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Is it good?
So it's very much like Temple Run in that you're just running forward and you're dodging stuff, and there's more intense stuff to dodge. You wait,
you're not even running towards the camera? That would be your one unique thing that
No. You're running away from the camera, which is very odd for sure.
Okay.
You tap to jump.
Weird.
You tap to spin. You kind of go for you push forward or whatever, slide upward to jump.
Swipe.
Swipe down to crouch, I don't know, a sliding crouch sort of thing, and then left and right to move left and right on the screen. It's a 3-track screen, so it's just kind of left, right, and middle. And yeah, variety of stuff comes at you. You just have to dodge. And the idea is you're taking out Cortex's minions by using different like elixirs and potions to throw at them, which you have to get crafting material for to make. And then when you do that, they take a certain amount of time to craft. So this is where their time mechanic comes in of you have like a free play area where you just can go on forever as long as you want collecting stuff by running around, and then you like go back home, you start crafting something and it's like, okay, this will be done in 5 minutes and you'll need like 3 of them or something. That's the like, okay, now I'm going to put my phone away and wait until I can play again sort of mechanic.
Or you could like pay to speed it up.
Yep, there's definitely all that. I mean, so all the annoying stuff here, just assume you can pay to get rid of it because it's one of those games. So
right, okay. Can I ask you two? I have 2 questions for you. And you know, don't take this the wrong way. First one, why are you playing this?
Because I want to. Like, I don't know. Why do you play anything like, you play?
Well, just like this doesn't seem like a great game. Like, what brought you to this game?
I just wanted to try it out.
Okay, all right. Second question. Is Crunch Bandicoot in this? Because Crunch Bandicoot is in Crash Team Racing, and what's that guy's deal? Because I like that name.
Okay.
He's from Crash Bandicoot 3, I think.
So far I've only been able to play as Crash. I don't think this game's fully out. I think it's in like kind of a soft beta or early access launch because there's a bunch of things that are just like coming soon that I can't interact with. And they gave me like a pre-registration skin of Crash looking like a skunk or something. So yeah, so I got that. Sweet. You can buy, there's another skin in the shop, which they push aggressively for the starter packs and stuff. That one skin is 250 in-game gems, which is equivalent to about $15 US. So if you want a Crash skin, you're going to be spending at least probably $15.
How good is this skin? What does he look like?
I mean, I could tell you in a second. I don't remember. Because I don't look at that. I try to exit out of that shop.
This better be like a really good skin. Like there are like Apex skins that cost that, which I will not pay for.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure more time went into those too. Those probably at least deserve a little bit more. It is.
What's the most you would pay for a skin?
That's a good question.
It would have to be a really fucking good skin, though.
Okay.
Well, so first off, what's the most you would pay for, and what would that skin have to like look like? Does it have to have like an Arnold Schwarzenegger tie-in?
I mean, that's just how you get me to play Mortal Kombat. $10 maybe at the most.
Okay, that's higher than I expected.
But it would absolutely have to be a game that I'm putting a lot of time into. And I have no idea, and I don't know what it would have to look like. There's a couple different ways it could go. It would just have to be something really keen to my interests.
I don't think I've ever actually purchased a skin.
So
have you not even bought like an Overwatch loot box or anything like that?
No, never. The nice thing about Overwatch is they gave out a lot of packs.
Yeah.
Even when you had like the events, they would give out like event packs, which is really nice. And that's one thing I don't like about Apex is when they have their events and they're like, oh, you can get it from the event pack. There's no way to get those packs except for buying stuff. I always say like, oh, Overwatch was like the gold standard for them like giving away stuff. Paul, what's the?
I have no problem buying skins. On a skin, I've spent $15 to $20 on skins before.
Okay,
I have no problem doing that.
I'm not saying it's a bad. I'm not saying you should have a problem. So what about this Crash skin was not worth $15 to you?
Well, first of all, it's for Coco, so I was wrong about that. It's 90s Coco, and I don't know that it'll pick up because of the reflection, but
yeah, you can see it pretty good actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That doesn't look like it's worth $15. It just looks like an out.
Well, I haven't been able to play as Coco yet, so I would agree.
Okay.
Surprise.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm sure at some point you probably can. I haven't been able to. Yeah, I don't know. It's not good, but it has Crash on it, and You could play it. It's a thing that's on phones.
You
Okay.
could.
Yeah.
I think that's the tagline of 4. So
Yeah. Yeah. You could play it. And other smaller stuff, I guess. GoldenEye had the XBLA version of GoldenEye that was supposed to come out years and years ago was leaked online finally. Somebody either cracked that WinZip that was online or uploaded a new file or something. Either way, I played it. And that remake is definitely substantial because it has the button that you can like cycle through the old look like anywhere, including the character models and like cutscenes.
Like Halo Anniversary.
Exactly, yeah. It was substantial. It's obviously old by today's standards because of course it is. That game kind of just sucks though. Like the dual
it wasn't nice like revisiting it.
It was okay. Honestly, the problem is
GoldenEye hasn't aged well. Most people don't realize it.
Yeah. It is nice using the dual joystick as like a normal shooter. But the problem is the aiming is still terrible. So the aiming reticle is bad and the auto aim is hit or miss. You kind of just have to get used to how the auto aim in that game works by pointing your gun within like a certain amount of distance where the enemy will be, and then the bullets will just kind of travel to the point where they're pointing at. And that feels bad. Some of the missions are just kind of boring and bland in general. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those games that like I didn't mind playing it again and like trying this version out, but I'm pretty done with it. Like I didn't hate it, but I have nostalgia for it, you know. So not a whole lot more.
It's an interesting story because like it never came out because the licenses couldn't like agree.
Yeah.
So it got shelved forever.
Yeah.
And so that would imply like they started out on this thing and said, "Oh, don't worry, keep developing it. We'll figure it out."
Yeah.
Kept developing it while discussions happened, and they never finished those discussions in a satisfactory way, so they had to just stop. That's so odd. That would suck.
Yeah.
Being a developer on there and just being like, well, no one's going to see this. And I bet this stuff happens all the time and we just don't hear about it.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally. Yep.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, it is the fully fledged version of even like the full GoldenEye story, Aztec and Egyptian at the very end. Like it's the full game redone. There is a multiplayer thing that's for local only. There's an achievements menu that obviously isn't connected to any achievement system. It's a pretty finished product. Like you could just tighten a few things up and like sell this thing kind of, which is interesting. It's interesting that like they did that much work on it and it just never came out because of licensing. And that really sucks for them. I think if this had released on XBLA, this would have sold really well because the Perfect Dark thing sold really well.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This would have been way bigger. Yeah. Sometimes you just can't go back, you know? You just can't go back.
So now that you're playing this James Bond game, does that get you psyched for IO's James Bond game?
I mean, yes, but it's not because I'm playing this. I played this. Yeah. Yeah, that's just interesting. Another small side note, because I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Hunie Pop 2's out. It's Hunie Pop again. So if you liked that, it's that again, but a little more difficult because now you're dating 2 girls. So you have things to like watch out for. Yeah. I will say so far, the writing has not been as crazy racist. So that's a big plus. Good job. Like there's been,
from what Reese has told me, yeah, that changes.
I'm sure it does because there's definitely a Polynesian girl they keep calling Japanese, and I'm sure that's gonna get way worse. So, oh, Hunie Pop. But yeah, that's out now. You can play that. I have been. The big game I've been playing is Blue Fire. So Blue Fire is. So this
is the one you were playing when we raided, right?
It is, yeah. This is an indie. Zelda-like is how I would describe it when you first look at it, because it looks like maybe a new like Ocarina of Time sort of thing with the Z targeting and like dungeons and all that sort of stuff. but it's really, really, really focused on platforming, 3D platforming.
I thought I read a description comparing it to kind of like a polygonal Hollow Knight. Is that not accurate?
That is less accurate than I think people. I haven't played a Hat in Time. People have said this is very Hat in Time-ish with like Zelda dungeon elements.
When I saw of it, it looked like very Hat in Time, very floaty 3D platforming.
Yes, very heavy on 3D platforming, extremely, to the point where there's like the Breath of the Wild shrine idea where there's voids you go into and you like get a heart piece, or not a heart piece, a full heart for doing them because the game's not very long. It's an indie thing. And they are straight up just platforming, almost like, you know, when you would go into like a subworld in like a 3D Mario game and it was just like a whole bunch of weird platforming and like stuff like that. It's that essentially, but like extremely difficult in some circumstances. So you really, it's a little weird because I went into it thinking, oh, cool, I like the old like Ocarina of Time style of like a 3D adventure game or whatever, and then what I got was almost like 3D Meat Boy in some regards, and that I like that too. It's just not exactly what you would think by looking at screenshots and like some video of it. The big thing about this game is that it runs okay on Switch, and it runs like complete dog shit on PC, and I cannot recommend people to get it at all on PC.
Weird.
I've been playing it on Switch.
Really, I would think it's the other way.
I've been playing it on Switch. I talked to a dude who was saying that he got a glitch in the second dungeon. He's playing it on PC, and he couldn't pass it, and then it completely fucked up his save file, so he had to start all over again. I was watching another dude play it on Twitch, and he could not get past a certain boss without it crashing during the final cutscene for half an hour. Like, it's broken garbage on PC right now. I'm sure they're fixing it. They might have even fixed it by now because this was earlier in the week. This was like launch window, the first like 2 days I was watching people. So if you're going to get it, make sure you get it on Switch. Also, it does not put its best foot forward. It is pretty slow and boring for about the first hour. And then once you start getting some more like movement stuff and the game starts really like picking up, then it feels good and it gets better and better for sure. It almost feels like the intro area was like the last thing they just needed to get done or something. It's the least polished. It's the least fun. It doesn't even have like good ambient music behind it. In fact, I don't think it has any ambient music behind it. It just feels very, very basic. And that kind of sucks because I was ready to shelve it a little bit. I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. And then you get to like the first hub area sort of thing and do the first temple. And you're just like, oh yeah, no, there's like something here. And it just gets better and better from there. So there is that. It does have some frame rate issues here and there on the Switch because it's the Switch and some of the like levels are big open areas with like rain effects and a bunch of enemies in it and stuff like that. So it doesn't ever dip really to an unplayable level though. I would say it's just noticeable when you're in one of those voids and it's full 60 frames per second and like it's very tight feeling movement, and which it needs. And then it like transports you back into the area where you went into that void, and like it just feels slower in that area because of the frame rate. So yeah, overall, like for a $20 product, if you want a 3D platformer with like some very obvious Zelda homages and callbacks and stuff like that, it's totally worth getting if you get it on the Switch or if they fix the PC version. And apparently it is coming to PlayStation at some point, somebody said, but I don't know much about that. So hopefully it'll run better on that. But yeah, Blue Fire, it's really, really cool. It just has some problems with it, which is kind of too bad.
It has a launch discount right now, and it also looks like Wind Waker.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of games where you could be like, oh, I've seen this before. It's from da-da-da. It's from blank. Yeah, there's a lot of that in there, but it works. It's fun. It's a emo, Hollow Knight, Legend of Zelda sort of thing. and it's kind of neat. That's all I've been playing.
Let's do some news. A bunch of things happened this week. I'm just kind of surprised how many stories I collected here. Let's start with whatever's going on with CD Projekt Red, because this is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
God. All right.
So they tweeted out yesterday, we discovered that we have become victim of a targeted cyber attack, due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. John, would you mind reading this in like a criminal's voice, kind of like with a fun filter?
Do you want me to put on a filter right now? That's gonna take me a hot
If you
minute.
have an actual filter, I just meant like a vocal one. But if you have a filter and you want to make it sound like you did kidnap this person, they have a ransom letter here.
All right,
that is ridiculous.
All right, let me read this out. Hang on. Hello, CD Projekt Red. You have been epically pwned. We have dumped full copies of the source code for your performance server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. We have also dumped all of your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you can most likely recover from backups.
That caveat.
No, get back on track. Get back on track.
If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how shitty your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us.
It literally says how you shitty your company functions.
Yeah, wow. That is verbatim. That is verbatim. That's why I had to do a double take. I'm like, I was like, what?
Yeah, that didn't seem right until I read it with you.
I also didn't read out like the 30 exclamation points that are in there.
Oh, there's so many exclamation points.
It's so weird. Like, okay, first off, who says pwned anymore, right?
Yeah.
That's like
hackers, obviously.
Epically pwned, even.
Epically pwned.
Oh.
From what I was kind of seeing on Twitter, and a lot of this was like, Jason Schreier kind of reaching out and stuff. It sounds like internally they're taking it very seriously.
Sure.
Some people think this is like they did it themselves.
They can't be that dumb. They can't be that dumb.
Yeah.
I agree. This ransom note is ridiculous.
Yes. Yes,
it is.
Also, I'm curious. Like, I'm super curious because this happened more than 48 hours ago. This was like on Monday, or when was the 8th? No, Tuesday. That was Tuesday. Monday was the 8th. Yeah. So like, I haven't seen any kind of follow up. What happened? It's been after 48 hours. Did they contact them? They do. I'm so curious.
We'll find out if you see the files appearing online, then you know what happened.
I guess, yeah. So we haven't. So I'm assuming they've either figured it out or what. Why would CD Projekt Red tweet out the ransom note?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would they not just say like? Because typically when a company gets like hacked in some way, which kind of happens on the regular, they tweet out a thing saying, "Yesterday we discovered we've been breached. We're taking these precautions. There's a small number of you that might need to change your password, yada yada yada, or whatever it is." But they tweeted out the ransom note. Why?
I think they were just like, this is so stupid. No one will believe us. We have to show this.
It's so fucking good.
It's so weird.
This definitely, if someone told me that this happened to them, I wouldn't believe them. This ransom note is so stupid. It has to be real. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I don't even know, man. This is the weirdest thing. What is happening? All right, moving on. Next story in terms of what is happening with this thing, Anthem, everyone's favorite game.
Yeah,
is as we know, slowly being worked on by a small team at EA.
Yeah,
it sounds like this week at some point, EA is meeting with the small little Skunkworks team that is updating Anthem to make the decision of whether or not they will continue and actually put resources behind it, or if they were shelving it. Again, no update on if that meeting has happened, what they decided on. But it is sounding like if they do get the approval, they need to like triple the size of the team currently going on with it. Otherwise, they'll can it. I personally think the fact that they went from yes, we will fix Anthem to we are going to decide whether we want to fix Anthem is a pretty big indicator that they're going to shelve it. But I ask you guys, what do you think they're going to say at the meeting? If you had to guess.
I think it's getting shelved.
I honestly think it depends, like, what they're told by the team. That, like, if the team's like, we tried our best, this is what we could do, and it's, like, not substantial, then they're going to be like, okay, that's what we thought, we're just going to not bother. If, like, the team gives them something, I don't see why they wouldn't run with it.
Right. I'm understandable. I'm asking you, what do you think is the likely scenario? What do you think is going to happen? You think they came up with something good and they're going to get the green light? Just a random guess. What do you think?
Knowing EA, whatever, like, it's really just about money. It's not about whether they care about Anthem at all. So, like I said, if there's something there that they're like, we can make money on, they're going to do it for sure. I don't know. I don't know what's there for Anthem next.
I think it's like almost too far away from Anthem to even like get a lot of goodwill back. Like I feel like there's almost no point. No one who's still clamoring for this. Anyways, what were you going to say, John?
Apparently they actually auctioned off the CD Projekt Red server. Check the chat. There's a link to a Verge article.
Oh, really?
Interesting. So they did not contact them back in 48 hours?
Yeah. Cyberpunk Studios hack data has reportedly been sold. It was auctioned off. Hackers auctioned off stolen code from the Red Engine and CDPR game releases and have announced that a satisfying offer from outside the forum was received with the condition of no further distribution or selling. That smacks of under-the-table offer.
Yeah.
But who knows?
This is honestly the most cyberpunk thing CD Projekt Red has been involved with this whole time.
Well, so that's another thing. That was one of the things that people were saying is as a reason why it's made up is like, is this like an ARG to like build up the cyberpunk unit? Like, yeah, I don't know.
How would people react to that if it was? They're not in people's good terms.
Fucked.
Yeah. Like, I think if you are a company that can, like, has the love of the community behind you, you can pull that off and people are like, brilliant. If you are known for lying to people.
Goofs.
Yeah.
Classic goof. Yeah.
Like, CD Projekt Red is in trouble for lying.
Just on the straight and narrow. They need, they're exactly, they're in trouble. They need to keep their nose down.
Yeah.
And they just need to get their work done.
Yeah.
At this point,
totally.
they've goofed around for too long. I don't know. This is weird.
To get back to Anthem, yeah, like what John was saying, the fact that this is a 30-man team to do next or whatever, they killed it like a year ago. And with like,
well, they have a 30-man team that is kind of building up what like a demo, a prototype, saying this is what we could do.
Yeah,
you give us if you greenlight it, they're going to triple the team in size and actually really do it.
But this is also EA, and I feel like there's, like you said, there's no real value in this. I think
that's the thing.
This is just performative. This is just performative at this point.
I just like, even if like best case scenario they come out and Anthem's great, I can't see that many people being like, yes, Anthem. I knew it. I've been waiting for Anthem. Even me, who like wants Anthem to be good, like if they brought Anthem back, like I don't know, I already played through it. Like I'm probably not gonna go back to it.
Yeah, that's the thing too, because like I did play the broken version all the way through and did the end game content. Like, why would I go back to a new version of that? Unless you're giving me a new game.
I would need like an Anthem 2. So did you guys rewrite a whole story? Is it a completely new thing? At that point, like,
yeah. Like, and you can't sell an Anthem 2, so EA would not sign on for that, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably dead.
All right. Speaking of signing on for stuff.
Okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis is now part of the Borderlands movie. What?
Why not?
What is happening with the Borderlands?
She loves games. It makes sense to me.
Yeah,
that's a great actor.
So
let me give you one more.
Okay. Yep.
Jack Black is gonna be Claptrap.
Actually?
Yep.
Okay.
That's kind of great, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how to think about that. Like,
that's good
I
casting.
like Jack Black.
Yeah.
I hate Claptrap. I don't want to hate Jack Black.
Oh, see,
Also,
I was thinking the other way.
Got two Jumanji members now. Maybe this is Stealth Jumanji 5 or 4. What are we on?
This
4,
is
right?
that would be 4, yeah.
Before.
So, have they said if this is like a live action thing, right? This isn't just voices.
I don't think they have said.
They don't. Okay, because I heard somebody talking about this a while ago, and I forgot to ask you guys. Do we know? Because like, if this, it's one of those things that if this isn't live action, they should have just probably got the normal voice actors, but they're doing this because of the Robin Williams effect of we need a name to sell the movie, right? Like that's the only reason.
I mean, I would assume with the people they're getting, you're gonna put them in the movie. It'll be live action. Claptrap will be CG.
Yeah.
With Jack Black's voice.
It would be better if Claptrap was not CG and it was just Jack Black, though.
Just like in like a suit, in like a boxy suit. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be way better.
Just want to read this Kotaku headline with the Jack Black news. Borderlands movie casts actor who's actually funny to play Claptrap, which feels off. That's definitely how I feel about this.
Okay.
So, got him.
I give him credit. I gotta give him credit for that. That was a good.
Pretty good.
That's good.
That's a good headline.
Yeah.
I don't even. Yeah. What is? Got some big names. I don't know, man. Like what? Coming out swinging with the Borderlands. Right.
Weird.
Speaking of video games, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is coming out June 11th.
Okay.
I am very excited for. It was my predicted game of the year.
Is it? Okay. Is that when the PS5 will be releasing? I see a tweet to that thing that you linked there. A reply. That's kind of how I feel about it too. It's like, cool. Could I get a system?
Okay. Sure. Yep. All right. This next news story is also weird. Pokemon's 25th anniversary is coming up. So they are hosting a virtual concert with Post Malone.
I was not expecting that GIF.
There's a short video where he's walking like behind the stage, and then he turns into an avatar Pokemon character, like a trainer, I guess. He has got a Pokeball.
He just
I would get excited for that.
He just explodes into CG.
As you do.
As you do.
Speaking of casting news, we have a Joel and an Ellie for HBO's Last of Us TV show. Bella Ramsey from Game of Thrones is Joel, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And Pedro Pascal playing alongside her, Ellie.
There you go. Perfect.
Yep. I think this is great casting, Pedro Pascal. I did not watch Game of Thrones, so I don't know much about Miss Ramsey here.
She was good. She was a like surprise star.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. But as a Mandalorian fan, I would say Pedro Pascal would be a great role.
Yeah, I was a little confused about this week because 2 hours or something like before he was cast officially, they were talking about Mahershala Ali as Joel was offered it, and I was just like, wait, what? They gave it to this guy when I read this news, and then I like had to look into it.
Yeah, that would have been great. Mahershala Ali is a fantastic actor. That would have been awesome.
That would have been neat. Yeah, I guess he didn't like. Apparently, they offered it to him, but he never got back.
You're
to
right.
Them.
That's what it is. They did offer it to him, so that would have been very cool to see.
So who knows, man?
I'll watch this series because why not? I have HBO. I'm curious. All right, here's a short one from Ubisoft. They're considering changing Rainbow Six Quarantine's name because of COVID.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair.
Yep.
Kind of makes sense. Yeah. Give me your best runner up. What would you call it? It's got to be like quarantine adjacent, but try not
Outbreak,
to,
probably.
Rainbow Six Outbreak.
That's still pretty
I
adjacent.
think that's pretty close still too. How about How about Rainbow Six Bad Vibes?
Bad Vibes is good. Yep. I would buy the shit out of a Rainbow Six Bad Vibes.
It's zombies, right? It's a zombie thing. Okay. I'm gonna think of another one. John, let's hear one from you.
Another quarantine adjacent name.
Yeah, you don't want to bring up COVID too much.
Well, that's the problem. Like someone, Troy just said is lockdown, which is also a good one, but that
is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also very like pandemic-y.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the problem. All the good ones I'm thinking are too pandemic-y.
Rainbow Six, like bitey, scratchy.
4 itchy tasty. 4 itchy tasty.
4 itchy tasty, yeah.
Rainbow Six, 6 feet apart.
6 feet apart.
I mean, they're gonna go with something like Doomsday.
Yeah,
I
could see
that.
Yeah, that's like that one doesn't. Yeah, nothing to do with the pandemic. Okay, I could see Doomsday.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, do you have one?
Yeah, I said it, and you turned it down. So no, fuck you.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was trying to ask. Do you have like a better one?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Speaking of pandemics, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has officially been announced. It's coming to theaters next year.
Yeah.
It is called Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sorry, that was part of the announcement.
Shocking.
Okay.
Absolutely shocking.
I saw the rumor. Sorry, by the way, April 8th, 2022. I saw the rumor Jason Momoa for Knuckles, and I thought that was hilarious.
That's really good.
That would be hilarious.
I don't think that's real.
No.
I just wanted to mention that because I thought that idea was very funny.
That's really good.
Kind of has the hair, kind of.
Yeah. Sexy Knuckles.
Just thinking because Jason Momoa, he gets so excited. I'm thinking of like his big smile, and then it's just put that onto Knuckles, and that's very funny to me.
Yeah.
All right. E3, we got a bit of news. This comes from videogamechronicle.com, which I hadn't heard about, but it's seeming pretty legit. Some info on what's going to happen with E3 this year. They're once again not going to do an in-person event, which makes sense.
Yep.
Going to be online like it was before, having it be tighter. This year, Jeff Keighley will not be involved again. He's going to be focusing on his Summer Games Fest.
Sure.
But they are going to have publishers and developers sign up, be a part of their whatever kind of online virtual event they're doing. Apparently, that sign on to join the program is a 6-figure number, which is pretty crazy. I'm kind of curious what that is in comparison to a typical E3, because I don't know what that is, but I know it is not cheap to be part of E3.
Sure. But when you're doing it online, man, is that worth anything? Like, you can just do your own thing. Nintendo does their own thing all the time.
Well, so that's the thing. Nintendo hasn't been at E3 for a while. PlayStation dropped out of the last true E3.
Yeah.
They're pretty much done. I feel like after last year, a bunch of the big companies that you would want to sign on to draw attention are going to be like, we figured this out last year.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
So that just means at that point, why would you sign up for this? You want the big publishers to sign on so that they're bringing the eyeballs so that your thing can get seen. But if they're not even signing on, why would you put the money in? It makes no sense for like a small team to scrounge together that kind of money.
Totally. Yeah. It's a really bad idea.
I'm kind of curious. Like it seems like E3 is so much on the way out, and they're just like trying, like grasping to stay relevant.
Yes.
Like, I understand the like. I am a fan of the excitement that E3 like that week brings. That's fun. I like that. I many years I've woken up and watched the press conferences. Blah blah blah. It just seems like an era of the past, though, that like we've moved on from, though.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right.
We'll see. They're targeting June 15th to 17th with an awards show and a preview night on the 14th, just before that. Small streams from publishers and media partners, and so on and so forth. And there was a cool reply I saw here from Wario64 that said, also opt in to get your identity stolen. Because that did happen at E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that affected a bunch of my friends. So
that's also funny. All right, some WB Games news. This one I thought was pretty interesting. There was a few parts to this. Early in the week, I had heard a story that WB Interactive had been working for the past few years to trademark or to patent and secure the patent of Middle-earth's Nemesis system.
Right.
Oh,
which, since they've been working on doing that for years, it had been deterring other developers from wanting to implement a Nemesis system, build on the Nemesis system, because they didn't want to deal with whatever legal issues that might happen. Fast forward to the actual news story I have here. They have now secured that patent, which would basically mean no one is going to make a Nemesis system at this point.
Probably, yeah.
But that basically answered the question of why we hadn't seen one, is because there was this legal binding that, though had not been secured, would probably have still caused something bumps in the road that a team just wouldn't have wanted to deal with. And now we know for sure no team will be dealing with it, because now it is WB Interactive's. This also sucks. Because they're basically saying, hey, we came up with something cool, and we're not letting the community build and share and build off this idea, which all video games are some kind of twist on an old mechanic that someone else made. That's how things evolve. So that's just a bummer. I mean, I'm only ever going to see the Nemesis system if it's tied to a Lord of the Rings skin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably.
The dream of seeing a really cool Batman game with different thugs working up through Riddler's ranks and Joker's ranks. That's never going to happen, but there you go. There's the answer. I can't remember I think I stopped those Game of the Year predictions last year.
I think so too.
I don't think this nullifies anything from this year, but
yeah,
kind of interesting that question has been answered.
It's kind of too bad too. Speaking of along with the Medium, how they copy or they have a trademark on the dual reality gameplay shit. There's I did see
that. Yes,
there's a bunch of shit in the past where it's just that sucks because you guys just killed that idea forever by doing this.
Right. Another thing that is not coming back, the Mass Effect Legacy Legendary Edition. They're going to cut back on the Miranda butt shots.
Sure, that makes sense. There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
there's
a
difference.
Weird ones.
There's a difference between just a weird butt shot every now and then, maybe happening by accident, or even a obviously tongue in cheek one.
It's a video game. What? Yeah.
No, with your camera and stuff, while you're moving
with
around.
Yours, yeah. Well, I feel like most of these were.
These are all cutscenes.
In cutscenes, yeah.
Yeah, and they're really fucking weird. Some of them, really dire situation. Here is a round ass, right in your face.
Or the example they have here in this screenshot is Miranda's talking about her sister and what happened in their past, and you're just staring at her ass.
Oh yeah, sure. There's a lot of
It sounds hilarious. Fucked up, but hilarious.
Yeah, there is so many ass shots in that game. There's so many.
It's weird. Because the character.
Okay, I'm looking at the article. How the fuck were they okay with this? What the fuck?
And it's weird because the character is has some deep and damaged stuff going on, and they're still doing this. It's kind of gross.
She's not even overly sexual of a character. It's weird. It's super weird.
Super weird.
Anyway, it's right next to the damn decision wheel. So you have no choice but to stare at the ass. What the fuck?
Also, that interactive wheel was copywritten for Mass Effect.
Yes,
that's another copyright.
God,
yeah,
I hate gaming.
Yeah, it's real bad.
All right, here's another short one, mostly because I complained about it last week. Destruction All-Stars. I talked about Are we going to see a bunch of weird kind of voice chat stuff like we are in Destruction All-Stars because the PlayStation 5 defaults to your controller microphone being on? There has been an update. The developers now have the game set to microphone will be off by default.
Duh. Like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, someone had to stumble first. So I bet now we won't see it again. That's my guess. Speaking of stumbling first, the Prince of Persia remake has been delayed indefinitely.
Sure. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
It was supposed to come out, I believe, late January. It got pushed to March of 18th of this year. There is no longer a release date.
Sure.
I'm very curious what that could be. I know when they first showed it, it looked pretty bad, but then we kind of got the behind the scenes. That was an old version of it. Here's what it looks like now, and it looked a lot better. But apparently, that's not even anywhere close to being done. I don't know.
I'm sure in 2030 I'll be playing a totally legal cracked version of it that I downloaded from the internet.
Here's my crossed fingers hope they're going to come back and add the other two games in, and now it's an appropriate remaster trilogy for the price they're asking.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
Just all it's yeah, it's weird. You know, when Activision is putting out like remasters that are better deals than you're doing something wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this last news story is the Terraria devs have canceled their Stadia port because they've been locked out of all of their Google services for over 3 weeks, and they're tired of it.
Yeah. I was saying before the show here, my favorite part is how the main guy, Andrew, was like, I just bought Lord of the Rings 4K and I can't finish it. Like, yeah, I understand. That's like what is it, like almost $200 Canadian, at least, series or whatever release. So I get it, man. That sucks.
He basically went on Twitter and said, I absolutely have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Terraria for Google Stadia canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward.
Yeah.
He says he's been unable to get into any of his Google accounts for over 3 weeks. They're not getting back to him. They've been giving him the runaround. Seems odd to me. That just seems like a really weird thing to happen. Can't imagine Google doesn't want Terraria. Like, no one said ghost this man. Late, I guess. 3 weeks is a long time still. He gave him a chance.
Yeah, I'm sure the news about them shutting down their Stadia studio didn't help. Like, one of the things he actually said also, which was a little more like realistic, is I'm not going to be involved with a corporation that values their customers and partners so little. Doing business with you is a liability. Like, yeah, he's totally right.
See, I don't even know if it has anything to do with the like shutting down the internal studio, because they even said we're going to still be working with external studios to bring their games to Stadia.
No, so but the doing business
is the opposite of that.
No, I will not be involved with a corporation that values their customers and partners so little. Like, Google is obviously shitty to deal with. And I'm sure the only reason why anybody does anything with Stadia is because it's Google. And like, now that stuff's happening, and maybe people will just be like, yeah, fuck Stadia completely. Fuck third-party development for it. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see the plan for sure with that going forward.
Yeah.
Let's do some questions. If you would like to send a question in, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. This first one comes in from Kevin. Bread or rice?
It's completely different things.
Got to pick one. Which one? Bread or rice?
Bread.
I'm going bread.
Probably bread, yeah. It's the simplest. All right, Thomas, with Terraria not coming to Stadia anymore, do you think Fez 2 could take its place?
That's so mean.
I'm gonna guess no.
Yeah,
put an answer out there.
True, yeah.
John, you want to read this third one here?
My bad. I was doing something else for a second there. Cody writes in and says, "When was the last time you paid $60+ for a game?" Tomorrow.
Yeah,
because every
I
game
mean,
is
for
like
you guys,
$80.
he's talking like a full price.
Like a week ago.
Okay.
For the pre-order for the game that comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much actually.
It's actually been a bit because I usually find like a sale.
I got games for the console launch, so console launch, if not sooner.
I want to say mine's probably Valhalla. I paid full price for that one.
Okay.
VGC Kenny, if you got to choose the next Smash character, but you had to pick from a game that had one of your favorite and soundtracks to give you some leeway in a video game, who would that character be?
Like, it's still probably Hollow Knight.
It's probably like Meat Boy, maybe?
Meat Boy would be cool. Yeah, that's a cool answer.
Nathan Spencer from Bionic Commando Rearmed.
That could work too.
Okay, that'd be cool too. Okay, Linebeck has a couple here. What is a game you enjoyed a lot, but also looked forward to when it ended? I'm going to be the asshole and say most games. I am looking forward to seeing the end and then moving on.
I was actually
Breath of the
thinking
Wild.
that too.
I'm like, this is great, but this is holy shit long.
Like every RPG for sure.
Yes, alternatively.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna say, alternatively, what like is there a game where you're like, I want this to ever end? I don't want this to end. This is so good, I don't want it to end.
Yeah, probably. Let me think for a second on it though.
Yeah, because I do agree with you. A lot, most of the times, I'm like, I'm happy when a game ends because it's like, cool, I'm done that. I can move on to the next one. I don't revisit games a lot.
I really don't want multiplayer games I am into to end. I don't want Siege to end. Like, I just want it to get better or something. I don't think that counts with what he's talking about here, though.
Yeah, I agree with you because I would say like Apex, but like, yeah, there isn't really an ending regardless. Right. It's more just stop production.
Yeah, I don't think it counts for this.
I think there is a part of me with RPGs that, although it has taken up a lot of time, by the time you are getting to the end, it's like, man, I've spent so many time with these characters, and I put a lot of work into building them up and going down their skill change just the way I want. I found all their weapons, so kind of saying goodbye to that is a bit of a bummer. So I can understand that as well.
Yeah, I kind of really like the end, though, because I like feeling like I built up to something, you know?
I mean, that's the other thing is if it doesn't end, then it's going to be like, man, can this just end already? Like, I'm getting tired of this. That's another, that would be
fake out endings extend like, oh God, I'm so done with this.
Yeah, fake out endings really make it worse, for sure. Okay.
I'm trying to think if I've ever enjoyed a fake out ending, because even like kind of emotionally, like the narrative builds to something and it's like, oh, just gotcha. Wait, hang on, there's one more little arc you got to do. And it's like, what? Why?
Yeah.
I don't know if any of them.
Okay, second part of his question here. So this is split up. I'm going to do John's first, and then we can answer after. So, John, what is the most unbelievable strain of good luck you've ever had in a video game?
Apparently, and when we played through Bloodstained recently, apparently I got all the rare drops while playing it.
Nice.
But I didn't realize it because it was my first time playing the game. So everyone was like, how the fuck did you get that already? Constantly in the chat. It was hilarious.
And then for Sean and me, it's the opposite, because I guess the kind of subtext here is John always has bad luck. So
yeah, pretty much.
So the most unbelievable strain of bad luck we've had in video games, Sean?
I had an answer to this, and I read the question earlier this week, and I've totally forgotten it. I'll say I probably had a pretty good amount of bad luck from Cyber Shadow.
Fair.
That's recent. Yeah, that's a thing. Unbelievable strain of bad luck. Kind of wish I had read this earlier this week so I could have thought on it.
I don't have one on the top of my head.
I really don't either.
right, John, how about you take this next one then?
Okay, next one from Hebrew Lantern. What would you call a TDP cryptocurrency?
Oh, okay, that
Top
makes
down points. So it's still TDP.
Top down points. I was gonna say they came up with one in the chat that I thought was pretty good. Was top down pennies I had seen.
Yeah.
TD
pennies.
One,
yeah.
TD pennies. Yeah. I had thought of dollars for the D. Top dollar perspective.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I like the top dollar part in myself.
Oh man, top down profits from Sunny in the chat's really good too.
Next one from Calman. A friend on Discord just told me if I was a Pokemon, I'd be a Sudowoodo. I don't know what that means for you as a person. I know what a Sudowoodo is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing. In a similar vein, if each of you were a Pokemon, which Pokemon do your co-hosts think you'd be? That is Sean and Paul, pick for John, etc.
Okay. Oh.
Make sure I get the name right on this one. I'm gonna say Paul is a Granbull.
I don't think I know what that is.
See that? That's a good choice.
Granbull?
Well, it sounds like John knows Granbull. Paul, do you know Granbull?
No.
That's the evolution from Snubbull, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like an angry dog.
Okay.
John, though, what would John be?
This is where my limited knowledge and remembrance of Pokemon is really hindering.
For some reason, I think John, something vaguely, bipedal, humanoid-like. So I think of either Mr. Mime or like an Alakazam, Dabra looking kind of thing. I don't know why.
A Mr. Mime, huh? I could agree with Mr. Mime. Sure.
All right, there you go. That's not bad.
Or you can be its evolved form, Mr. Rhyme.
What was I forgot the evolution.
There's Mime Jr., Mr. Mime, Mr. Rhyme.
That is an.
One has you as Missing No. That's pretty appropriate.
Missing No is pretty good.
Missing No, yeah, that's fair. I'll take that.
Yeah, I think that might be better for sure. And then we have to think of one for Sean.
You guys can just say Machamp. It's cool.
I was gonna say, like, I need a good sporty one. I need a good sporty one.
I was just thinking to myself, is he also a Sudowoodo?
Oh no! I think Sudowoodo is cool. I'll take Sudowoodo.
I think what's the rabbit starter? Score Bunny.
Score Bunny.
Okay.
I could see Score Bunny, or even the Cinder Ace, the evolution.
Sure, I'll take it. Sounds good to me. There you go. Send in your fan art, I guess.
Okay, final question from
Paul,
Raster.
you with the last question here.
Yeah. From Rasterman7, following the cryptocurrency question, what symbol or image would you give the coin? As in, how would the coin look like in promotional material?
Would probably be like have the waveform logo and everything on it, like we normally have.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Kind of like the idea of it not being a coin. Like, what if it was some like more like a dice, some kind of like cube or pyramid, some kind of three-dimensional thing, a jewel.
Okay.
If you did like a pyramid, you could have like TDP on the three sides, and then on the bottom it could be that meme picture of Pikachu where he's like, oh.
That would be pretty good. Yeah.
That would work too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone says Sean's face. We could have all three of our faces on there, and on the bottom, Pikachu's face from that meme.
Yeah.
That just makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
That's going to do it for questions. If you want to send in questions for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
Blue Fire.
And Dicey Dungeons.
Mine is Monster Train. The submission thread for next month's Patreon game is live. So if you're at the right tier, go submit a game because that'll be in the poll next week. Otherwise, we'll see you guys then. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody.